Every distraction carries a message from your deeper self about what you truly need in this moment. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about going from scattered to sacred and transforming distractions into purposeful action. Enjoy. The notification pings, your attention drifts, and suddenly you're 3 articles deep into something completely unrelated to what you were doing. Sound familiar? We live in an age of infinite distractions, where every device, every app, every moment seems designed to pull us away from what matters most. But what if these very distractions, instead of being obstacles to overcome, could become doorways to deeper purpose? By the end of this episode, you'll discover how to transform the scattered moments of your day into opportunities for intentional living, turning what feels like lost time into meaningful action. Distractions aren't inherently evil. They're often our mind's way of seeking something it needs: novelty, rest, connection, or stimulation. The problem isn't that we get distracted, it's that we judge ourselves harshly for being human, and then we let those distractions lead us nowhere meaningful. But there's another way to approach these moments of mental wandering. Consider this. Every distraction is information. When you find yourself scrolling through social media instead of working on that important project, your mind might be telling you it needs a break, or connection, or inspiration. When you drift into daydreaming during a meeting, perhaps your creativity is asking for space to breathe. The key is learning to listen to what your distractions are really saying. The first step in transforming distractions is awareness without judgment. Notice when your attention wanders, but instead of immediately snapping back with self-criticism, pause and ask, what is this distraction offering me? Sometimes it's offering rest when you've been pushing too hard. Sometimes it's offering perspective when you've been too focused on details. Sometimes it's simply offering a moment of joy in an otherwise serious day. Once you understand what your distraction is offering, you can make a conscious choice about how to honor that need purposefully. If your mind is seeking connection and you find yourself on social media instead of mindlessly scrolling, you could reach out to a friend you've been meaning to contact. If you're craving novelty and find yourself browsing random articles, you could choose to read something that aligns with your goals or interests. This isn't about eliminating all spontaneity or turning every moment into a productivity hack. It's about bringing consciousness to the moments when your attention naturally shifts and asking yourself, how can I honor what I need right now in a way that serves my larger purpose? Sometimes the most purposeful action is to fully embrace the distraction. If you're drawn to look out the window, maybe what you need is a moment of beauty and presence. If you feel pulled to organize your desk instead of working on that report, maybe your mind needs the clarity that comes from external order. The difference between mindless distraction and purposeful action isn't always in what you do, but in how consciously you choose to do it. One powerful practice is the purposeful pause. When you notice your attention has wandered, instead of forcing it back immediately, take 3 conscious breaths and ask yourself, what would be most helpful for me right now? Sometimes the answer will be to return to your original task with renewed focus. Sometimes it will be to take a genuine break. Sometimes it will be to pivot to something else entirely that your intuition is guiding you toward. The goal isn't to become a perfectly focused machine, but to become more intentional about how you navigate the natural ebb and flow of attention. When you stop fighting against your distractions and start working with them, you often discover that what felt like scattered energy was actually your inner wisdom trying to guide you toward balance. Remember that purposeful action doesn't always look productive in the traditional sense. Sometimes the most purposeful thing you can do is rest when you're tired, play when you're stressed, or connect when you're lonely. These aren't distractions from your purpose, they're expressions of it, because living purposefully means honoring all of your human needs, not just the ones that look good on a to-do list. Today, when you notice your attention wandering, try approaching it with curiosity instead of criticism. Ask yourself what this moment of distraction might be offering you, and how you can honor that offering in a way that aligns with your deeper intentions. You might discover that what you thought was scattered energy was actually your inner compass, pointing you toward exactly what you needed. Your distractions aren't evidence of weakness or lack of discipline. They're part of the complex, beautiful human experience of having a mind that seeks variety, connection, and meaning. When you learn to work with this natural tendency instead of against it, you transform scattered moments into sacred opportunities for purposeful living. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.